What's up, everybody? Saltiest Gaming, and we're back with another podcast, the Saltiest Gaming Podcast, and we are live. We got two brand spanking new, that new car smell, so good, panel members today, and I'm very happy to introduce both of them. The first one up is Noof Nukem. What is going on, bro?
Noof.
Hey, you know it's gonna come, right? Boom, boom, kaboom, Noof Nukem on another night and a new podcast. Good to be here, guys. Thanks for accepting me in. It's going to be a wild ride, I'm sure of that, but it is going to be fun. Again, thanks for having me, and to everybody in the chat. You guys rock, and I hope that you'll accept me as part of the Saltiest podcast. Hoping to bring a little no chills in here, so it might get a little cool. So settle up.
The most
very nice
explosive man in the biz. Thank you for being here, man. Dark Bottomist. Happy to have you, brother.
that's gonna be my nickname. Intro. I see how it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man, I'm happy to be here. I'm glad to be part of the panel, and you know, we got a lot to talk about tonight. This show's probably gonna go for like 3 hours. I'm telling you right now, because I got so much to go into.
It's gonna be lit, man. It's gonna be lit.
Gonna be crazy. So yeah, happy to be here.
Awesome. And we got our old cast members, Punk Kiddish Gaming. What's up, man?
Not much, man. Chilling, ready to start this show, and like again, awesome to have Dark and Noof as permanent panel members, man. Good stuff. Let's roll.
All right, take a bump of that good stuff real quick, and let's get lit up. Irrelevant native, what's going on, man?
What's up, my people? Welcome, Noof and Dark. I appreciate you guys coming on, and excited to hear your perspectives, dude. And just to clarify to the chat, I voted for Cletus, actually, not Noof. So let's just put that out there.
Noof, you can go buzz off now. I'll take the show from here. We're gonna have a bit of a time in here, guys. Let's get this going. All 3 teeth and 5 brain cells getting ready to rock here. Let's do it.
Let's go. Man, it's one of those things like Slim Shady and fucking what's his name, Eminem and stuff.
Eminem,
so
yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Bloody, what's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing much. You know, it's always good to be back here with the Saltiest crew, and I'm glad to see our new members. You know, Dark, I love talking when me and you go in on Vibration. Noof, it's always been good to have you here on Salty. So it's good to just have y'all here on the show. So it's perfect for the kind of chemistry we can all make together.
Ooh, chemistry.
Whoa.
Sexy.
Whoa.
Hey, I'd like to get
candles, dude.
hey, take him on a date first. Let's get some shout outs out of the way. Definitely want to shout some people out that are here early.
Let's go.
Stinking Corpse, Timothy Dixon, you guys were the first in the room. I appreciate it. Evil ERN. Who else do we got? Crazy Greek Dude, Black Haze, Britty T, Dark Autumn. No, not him.
No, we got Lord.
No, that's okay. You can shout me out, man. It's cool. You know, I always like the shout out.
Michael Monkey Punch got that new avatar. Thanks for being here. Let's get 30 likes out of the way. Make sure you share this on Twitter. Let's get this popping. Let's crack open whatever you got. I got my Red Bull. I know Noof's out of beer, so he's going to be drinking a Coke. So whatever you got, you know, pop them back and let's have some fun tonight. Shall we? Before we get started, I'll say this to the chat and I'll say this to the panel as well. Let's talk about what we've been playing this week. As far as myself, I've been engrossed in the game. That is State of Decay 2. I'm loving the game. It is amazing. Fuck Metacritic scores, because who cares about them? It's been amazing to play that game, honestly. I've been playing with people, all different types of people in the community. Been loving the game itself, and that's been my mainstay this week, honestly. What about you guys? What have you guys been playing?
I've actually been right there with you. I've been playing State of Decay nonstop since Thursday when it came out. I think I already have almost 70 hours in the game.
So if you had to give it a score yourself out of 10, what would you put it at?
I would give it a solid 8. It has its issues. There's no denying that. But for the most part, it's still fun. It's still solid. There's certain changes that I don't know why they made, but I'm enjoying what it is, and I can't wait for them to show more.
Okay. D Black Raven says he's 30 hours in. You got me beat, bro. I'm like at, I don't know, 15 maybe. But I'm loving it. That's awesome. Native, what have you been playing? PUBG? The usual?
No, I've actually well, Tuesday I had to wait till Game Pass got State of Decay 2, so I've been playing that all week, late nights, and of course I've been playing the PUBG PTS all last week, all this week. I mean, it's been amazing, dude. Miramar just dropped today, so I'm gonna be jumping on that later on tonight, probably after this.
Nice.
And yeah, dude, it's pretty much it. Gears of War 4 every now and then, but State of Decay 2 has been taking up a lot of my time. That game is just great. I love it.
So if you had to give it a score, what would you give it?
I'd give it an 8.5, simply because there's some aspects that I would have liked to see, just a little bit different, because I was playing the first one, I think like 2-3 weeks before State of Decay 2 released. And so I've been playing that, was engrossed in that, loved it. And now that there's number 2, it's like, okay, it looks a lot better. It's a little bit more smooth. The gunplay is better. It's tweaked. But I just wish there was a little bit more, just a little bit, a few more changes made to it. So I give it a solid 8.5 for sure.
Awesome. Shout out to Lethal Papa. He says he'd give the game an 8. Black Haze at 8.5. I mean, honestly, if I had to be honest to you guys, the people that have been playing, that actually have been playing it, would be sitting around an 8. I think that's a good score for this game. We'll talk about it in a little bit. It's one of the topics on the agenda. Noof Nukem, I know you've been working a lot. Have you had a chance to play anything this week?
Well, hey, fiddly diddly, I'm going to jump in here before Noof has to go, and I just want to tell you, I've been playing this new game. It's called Gran Orgasmo. It's like Gran Turismo, only it's like a racing game. It's come fast. That's what we've been playing.
Awesome.
Nice one, Cletus. Nice one. Yeah, man. I've been playing that game that apparently no one on the Xbox is allowed to like or to play, Sea of Thieves. We got back into that and have no regrets. Something addictive about that damn game. I can't really put my finger on it. But yeah, I've been playing that. I've been playing God of War. No surprise. Haven't finished it yet, but enjoying the hell out of that game. And jumped into some, what else have I been playing? Some Zombie there last night. Just tried that for the first time. And yeah, and that other one too. Shout out to, what's his name? That made that Raging Justice game. I picked that up for my Switch because I wanted to have some more Switch games to play. That was kind of pretty cool too. Good throwback to Streets of Rage, that sort of thing with sort of new age graphics and stuff. If you guys haven't tried that, it's a decent game. It's not going to blow any minds, but it's nice to see that sort of game genre come back a little bit, and a great job by an independent dev.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Dark, what have you been playing?
I've been playing mostly just Destiny and State of Decay 2, and mostly Destiny because of the fact that I'm kind of like taking my time with State of Decay 2 because I know the game is it has its problems. It has a few glitches here and there. I've run across screen tearing and stuff like that. It doesn't really bother me that much. It's it's a good game. I just I know that it's not a game that's going to take me that long to really, get. I feel like I'm gonna get sick of it after a while because it feels kind of repetitive at times. So that's why I kind of don't go in and jump in every day. But yeah,
take that back right now.
No,
you say that, yet you're playing Destiny. So come on now.
Hey, buddy, shut up.
No,
it's so true. It's so true.
No. I sent you the link, Dark.
You did, and I ignored it. So
smart
man.
You should. As you should.
I know Punk's defending Destiny 2 because that's what he's been playing.
Mm-hmm.
I have
is
been
this
playing that.
true?
And for all the haters out there, big F you to you. No, dude, I played the expansion. If you're into it, Iron Banner Week is always fun. If you either like the grind or you don't, it is what it is. But that aside, I don't know if any of you guys downloaded that Laser League game. That game is fun as hell. It's on Game Pass. It's almost, I would say it's kind of up there with Rocket League. It's probably gonna be the next esports thing if it isn't already. It's a blast. I play it with my good friend Carl and my brother-in-law. That thing is off the chain, and it's one of those games you can't get mad at. It's just a good time.
Can you give us like a quick synopsis on it? Just kind of like the premise of it.
Think of the gameplay. I would say think of the movie Tron. You know how like they ride out on the bikes and then like they hit the walls and stuff. It's pretty much it's all black and neon colors, and you these like blades go across the screen, and then it's 3 versus 3. If you go down, you just got to go over the next person. You'll just revive them, so you don't have to like hold down a button. All you got to do is go over them. But just think of Tron, dude. That's like the best way to describe it. It's a blast. I don't think everybody should take a look into it, or if you got Game Pass, check it out. It's a good time.
Nice.
We know you like those iron bananas.
Yeah, iron bananas in the pants. Yeah, and what did that come out loud? No.
Wait, what?
So, and anyway, without further ado, let's get in the first topic of the night. Days Gone. It's getting some early reviews. Days Gone's an exclusive for PlayStation. If you didn't know this already, it was supposed to come out this year, but it got delayed. Apparently, it's getting ripped by Eurogamer. It's kind of they're saying that the gameplay mechanics are kind of boring, they're clunky, and essentially they said if it doesn't have a good story, it's RIP for this game. What do you guys think? Essentially, of the story? Do you think Eurogamer's off base here, or it's kind of that's their thing now? It's just kind of trash these zombie games. What do you guys think?
How far out is that game?
It's I think it's coming out next year.
It's definitely dead in the water if it doesn't have a story. I mean, that's the thing. This game. I read a few articles here and there about people were saying that the gameplay is very sluggish and it seems like almost like State of Decay 2 when they're talking about it, and it's like oh man, I don't know. I mean, if this is an exclusive that's coming to PlayStation, I mean, I know it's coming out next year, but this is they got a lot of work to do at Ben over there.
Yeah, honestly, when I saw this the trailer at E3, I was like, what is this? I thought they already had a zombie game in The Last of Us, and it kind of follows that same PlayStation, model, the same look. And I don't know, man, it just didn't excite me. It just kind of had that static, boring feel to it, So I don't know, man. It just doesn't move the meter for me. And I've heard rumors that we're going to get a Dying Light 2 and stuff like that. So this genre is so packed that if you don't do something to stand out or be different, I think you're going to just get, brushed under the rug per se. Noof, what do you think, man? What do you think of Days Gone? I know you have a PlayStation, so is it up your alley?
Well, yeah, I've been excited for it. I mean, it's been on my radar ever since the very first time we saw a video of the game. Now, based on the current review that Eurogamer said, like, I guess he was playing a different build than what they showed off in the original videos. I guess he was talking about being early in the game, and I guess it wasn't really building up sort of to that part that he saw in the original demos. But it goes for anybody. It doesn't matter if it's Nintendo, Xbox, or Sony. I'm not a big fan of guys that really either overhype or in some cases trash a game way too early, because a lot can happen in the last 8 months of development sort of thing. I mean, it can go bad or it can go good, but I still have high hopes for the game. I think it's going to do well. I think it will sell well just on the premise alone, whether it turns out to be a great technical achievement or not. But I mean, graphically, it looks phenomenal. I guess the only thing when I watch videos, it does kind of remind me of The Last of Us just a little bit. I know it's not trying to be, but you can't help but draw comparisons to a lot of the games Sony has in their lineup. But I'm excited for it. I don't think they should be ragging on it, and I don't think people should judge it before they've had their own chance to see it for themselves. And maybe we'll see a little bit more at E3 and get a deeper sense of where this game is going. But it's still a long ways out, so I still have high hopes for it.
Sure, man. Bloody, what do you think?
For me personally, I think it's kind of mixed, because when I first saw the trailer for it, that first time they showed it off, and it was very World War Z-esque. You see the main character just running and just see thousands of zombies just chasing after him, running through that carpenter, just mowing them down, doing everything that he can in that what was it, like a
It was like a warehouse.
Yeah, a warehouse
manufacturing plant or something.
Yeah, like that was cool. Like I like that aspect. That was something we haven't seen in a zombie game. Yeah, you had the kind of speedy zombies are more infected with Dying Light, and of course in Left 4 Dead, but it still wasn't the exact same, But with what they were doing, I was just like, all right, this is a unique take. We hadn't seen a World War Z. And, after the movie and the book really coming back in a big way, I thought it was a good time to see something like that. Then when they started showing off the story elements, it was very, like you said, that Sony model. It was very everything they've done. They've tried to make it this kind of really deep, impactful story that doesn't always translate well. Last of Us, beautiful, well done, amazing. This didn't have that same aspect. It tried to be like Last of Us, but more Last of Us meets Sons of Anarchy. You know, it just didn't translate well. And from what I saw from some of that early, like 1 hour footage that was released early, I didn't care how it looked visually because I know it's a pre-alpha build. But from what they were showing with the story, like they stated, it didn't have a lot of heart. It looked like they were just trying to use the same cookie cutter formula that worked. It's like the early days of Marvel movies. They use the same thing and it plays out and you start to see its age. This was doing the same thing. The characters weren't that interesting. He had the most ridiculous name, Deacon St. John. Like what?
It sounds very old timely.
Yeah, it does.
Anything remotely modern.
It didn't sound like anything that you would see out of like the characters from Sons of Anarchy, like real hardcore names, or anything like that. So it's just like, all right, this looks uninteresting. The characters are kind of blandish. I'm not feeling his struggle here. So like, what's the point?
Yeah, Brujo X said he asked if we saw the World War Z trailer today. More zombie games. I did not, but yeah, put that on the list of the games that are coming out in this genre. I mean, it's stacked. Like I said, I feel like State of Decay kind of separates itself because of the way the game is made. You know, it plays out. Yeah, it's a resource management game. When it comes to these hordes of zombies and everything else, you got to have something that you know, puts you above the rest, or it's just not worth it, you know. So.
And it's a good thing that he mentioned that because like you said, State of Decay does stand out because it does its own thing. It's resource management while being very permadeath realistic survival. Dying Light has a very unique feel because of the fact that it's very fast paced from the parkour, but it also really like tempts you that you have to focus on using light. You have to build those light sources. You have to be careful of going out at night because of the hunters and everything. It makes itself stand out just like the original Left 4 Dead did.
So something you mentioned about, you know, the audience is kind of getting tired of the same style per se. You mentioned Marvel, right? The Marvel model. Do you think this is potential for PlayStation, since they're doing kind of the similar mold or whatever for their games? Do you think there's potential out there for the audiences to kind of get tired of it, or do you think it's just, you know, this is what's working, so why, you know, don't break what's, you know, working? Like, what do you guys feel about that? Like, I think it has potential to do that.
You know what? I'd like to see somebody turn the zombie formula on its head for a change. Instead of always being like in a zombie game where basically you're running for your life and trying to survive zombies. I like to see more of it like I guess Dead Rising 3 sort of did it the best, where there was a survival aspect, but essentially with the right weapons, you kind of felt like a badass and you could really run out and mow down the zombies. It kind of became like a shooting gallery. Like every game sort of tries to take the, oh, I got to survive and I got to collect this and collect that and run, or my health. You know, it'd be kind of nice to see somebody just like mess with the formula a little bit. I think Left 4 Dead did it in some really cool ways, and I wish they'd bring that franchise back. Nobody's quite done it quite like that game, in my opinion, since that game came out. Although, what was it, that Warhammer Vermintide kind of has that
Vermintide.
That has that very similar feeling because it has a lot of those like giant rats that kind of act the same way as some of the characters did in Left 4 Dead. So yeah, I don't know. I just like to see somebody mess with it a little bit more and not always just survival, and see how long you can hold out. You know, make somebody feel like a badass. You know, because zombies are generally slow and stupid. It's like you'd think you'd just get a gun and fucking mow these things down for a change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing, to speak on the whole like Marvel comparison there. You know, as you notice, like Marvel has kind of changed their formula here and there. You know, they've tweaked it, made it better, and you know, it just seems like Sony and PlayStation, they're not trying to make it better. They're just using the same formula over and over.
They're using what works.
Yeah, they're using what works, but they need to improve on it, especially if it's a game like this and it's already getting these bad, you know, previews and stuff. It sucks to see that, but at the same time, hopefully Sony Ben can turn it around and make a good game out of this.
No,
So,
definitely.
hold up real
Definitely.
quick. I had a comment here that I wanted to read out. So, Louis Me P, I guess that's your name. I mean, the audience didn't get tired of God of War with 5 million sales. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm not saying immediately. Obviously, I'm not saying. I'm saying in a couple years, maybe. The model has been similar. You can't deny that. You know, like these games look similar. They play differently, obviously, and they're story oriented. But I'm trying to compare it with movies, you know, or anything else in life. If you get the same thing over and over and over, like if you get a bologna sandwich, you might think bologna sandwiches are the best thing ever, right? I sound like Mooch, right? But
bologna sandwiches.
yeah, bologna sandwiches, but then eventually you need to change it up. Maybe you want to put some mustard on there. You want to, you know, change up the bread or not eat bologna. I don't know. It's a bad analogy.
Yeah,
But,
just tweak it up a little bit to
So
make it
bad.
better. You know, that's all they have to do is just tweak it a little bit, and you know, especially for this game because it does, you know, it has kind of a cool premise. You know, where you're a biker in a gang, and the zombie apocalypse comes, and you have to like, you know, survive and stuff. It kind of has that kind of cool little, you know, Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead kind of feel to it. But at the end of the day, if the mechanics don't work, you know, it's like there's no game there.
yeah.
I can't speak to the mechanics or anything yet. I do think the story is gonna be a little stale just because there's not really much that they can do. But one thing that I like to see in zombie games is the human side, the human aspect, the human storyline of you have this group over here trying to do what they're doing, and then like in Walking Dead, you have all these different groups, all these different factions dealing with the same, you know, zombie apocalypse thing, but still trying to rebuild society, trying to rebuild it, but in their own way, or whatever way that their leader deems necessary. I don't think that has really been explored in a lot of these zombie games. I mean, you see it a little bit in State of Decay 2, where if you piss off this group, if you don't help them, you know, they get pissed off and they start targeting you. I mean, I've seen people talk about they come and do drive-bys on your place and all this stuff. I mean, that's neat to me. I want to see that aspect, not so much as this zombie mutates, you know, over the course of 4 days and it runs faster, it jumps, it does parkour, and it you know, or this zombie blows up. You know, I mean that stuff has been explored and it's been, you know, delved into so much already that I want to see more human stories come out of these zombie apocalypse, you know, video games and things like that. That's what I'm looking for, and I'm hoping that Days Gone can bring that out. If not, then I really do feel like this game is going to fall flat on its face, because that's what you're fighting in the last year at E3 when I seen the video of the gameplay. I think it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes or something like that they showed in their little theater there. It was this guy going to get his friend, and he was, you know, being held hostage by this other group who wanted shit. So that they need to explore. They need to find out what those motives are, what his motives are, what his group's motives are. You know, just all these different people. That's what I want to see. And if it doesn't do that, then I have a strong feeling it's not going to make it. Last of Us did that well.
Yeah. Gabe Guerrero says he wants a zombie orgy game. That would be
Oh,
a little bit of a snuff film there. All right, I'm with it.
All right. But no,
I mean, that would change it up.
How about them apples?
Human
Not
aspect,
Gabe.
though, wouldn't it?
Gabe's a good friend, man. Shout out to him. He's a troll. So,
but well, I'm glad that everyone brought it up because it's something that's been noticed. You know, like the reason I brought up the Marvel method is because of the fact that, like, if you look back at the like first 4 to 5 years of their films, it was the same thing over and over again. And that's what we see here. Yes, it works for some games, like whoever it was that you mentioned earlier, Salty, that it's not hurting God of War. That's because God of War handled it in a well way to its lore and its unique universe. Just like Last of Us really did amazing because it focused on that human element and what Joel was trying to do for Ellie, because of the fact we saw what happened at the start of the apocalypse and everything that happened, you know, with the incident. You see that aspect. We're not getting that from Days Gone. If it can actually really pull that together well, that's great. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, Native, about State of Decay, mentioning how it kind of has that aspect of the leaders trying to rebuild their communities in their own way, similar to Walking Dead, because that's true. And in here, I've seen some unique things. Like there's some wandering traders who'll come in. If there was one where I went to a trader and he had 3 people ambush and tried to kill whoever was in the house.
Yeah.
So I end up having to kill all of them. It's a unique way to see that, and I want this game to do well, but right now it's not meeting that. It's not doing what it could do. You know.
Well, that's the thing. It's 2019 is when it's going to release. So I mean, it has some time yet to come out, and you know they can definitely turn it around. It's just, and I'm sure they will, because of the fact that, you know, I don't think PlayStation wants to put out a shit-tastic game. So I'm sure they'll turn it around and they'll make it better and they'll tweak it. You know, this could have been actually like an early build of the game too. You know, I mean, I don't really know. I didn't really see anything in the articles that I read that said it was an early build of the game, but I'm pretty sure it was probably an early build, and they were just testing it out, and they were like, oh well, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's interesting to see that this game is getting so much flack.
Hey, you guys want to hear a joke? You want to know why a woman prefers a zombie male to a real male? Because a zombie male is guaranteed to eat her out.
Oh, wow.
And demonetized.
And on that note,
all our audience.
On that note, we'll move on to the next topic.
I like that one.
Xbox Game Pass is, we'll talk about it for a little bit. It's the offerings for June. Spoiler alert, it sucks. So I'll go over the list here. You're going to be getting next up Hero Moto GP 17, the Mega Man Legacy Collection, which is actually probably one of the only ones I'll try out. The Technomancer Wasteland 2 Director's Cut, and Disneyland Adventures.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, dude. Really?
Hype.
This is
terrible. Get hyped on it, guys. What do you guys think of the Game Pass offering? I have said this before. I think it needs to be a point that, you know, each month it needs to have at least one good, you know, quality game, a banger that people want to play, because I've said this before. I understand that it takes time to get to the way, you know, Netflix did. That was done over a period of years. But if Xbox wants this to be a thing, if they want it to grow into the game, you know, Netflix of gaming, they can't have this month's garbage. You can't spin it any other way. I don't think people are going to be buying Game Pass for this month's offerings. And I understand they just dropped State of Decay 2 in there, so people are going to be able to play that still. But come on, guys, what do you guys think? You guys hyped for this offering, or what's going on?
It's very lackluster at best. Like you said, Mega Man is, I mean, like you said, nostalgia, or a lot of us probably didn't play all 10 of them, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot to play there, but everything else is just garbage. I mean, personally, I'm with you, Salt. Like, I'm actually kind of at the point where, do I want to continue my subscription? You know, it actually did run out I think it was like 8 days before State of Decay, but I was like, okay, well, I'm going to renew it because I want to play that game, and it's a Play Anywhere title, and I actually have a vacation coming up here in the next, like, I think it's like 3 weeks or so. So I'll take my laptop with me so I can do that. But besides that, this is garbage, man. And I know we'll get into some other topics later about bundling, but it makes you think about what your purchase is going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about value, and honestly, I got Game Pass for $1. They were doing the promotion, and I'm playing State of Decay. I like it enough to buy the game, so I'll get the Elite version, or whatever it's called, the Legendary version, Ultimate version. I'll buy that, and honestly, I'm gonna cut out Game Pass. It's just there's not enough there for me right now. What else do you guys, Bloody? What do you think? What do you think of this offering?
I mean, I'm kind of with everyone else that it's not a great selection. The one thing that I would definitely be for, because I haven't used Game Pass much, and that's not because I don't want to. It's just because of the fact that I'm trying to balance money right now, and I don't have the extra cash to throw down. I still have my free month, and I'm just waiting for a good month that has a lot of stuff that's already in there, as well as something good that's coming out new. But the Mega Man Legacy Collection is probably the biggest thing for me, just because that I'm a major Mega Man fan, and I loved that growing up. Like, Mega Man X series has still been my favorite, but Mega Man 6 and 7 were my favorite of the original series. So I would probably really only play it for that, just because of the fact that those are games I'm wanting to play. You know, no one cares about Disneyland Adventures. Everyone's given that shit for a while, and you know, I don't have kids. I'm not gonna get that game and put that on my hard drive, even if it is for a gamer score or not. But you know, there's with what's coming out new, there's nothing worthwhile. And I don't know if we know exactly which ones are being pulled out next month, but for the most part, this is not one of the best months for it.
Here's the thing. This could have been a perfect month for them to drop something absolutely sweet, because June is usually the time where they don't have, we don't get very many games in June or July. So this would have been a perfect time for them to drop something like, AAA that they have, in the works or whatever, just drop something that was, that they had, like Battlefield 1 or something like that. I have it, but some people haven't played it or whatever. Drop something like that, and then the following month drop something else. But then you read this list, and I was just like, the only thing that stood out was Mega Man Legacy, and I was like, really? Like, why? Like, why isn't there more?
Well, they can't drop Battlefield 1 because that's really an EA title, as well as it's already available in the Access Vault. So
no, yeah, I was just making an example of just what they could drop.
Yeah, and I agree completely.
Just something that big that they could have dropped this month to kind of have people keep their Game Pass subscription.
The thing about it though that I'm gonna say here is the fact of that right now they are focusing, like, if you've seen the past few months, the games for gold have gotten better because of the deals they've been making with those companies for those certain games, because we know Microsoft has to make some sort of deal with them to make those games free for their gold members. So I think right now that's why we're not seeing anything real big hitting Game Pass, just because of what we've been getting AAA wise from the games for gold. However, they really need to push it forward if they really want, Game Pass to be a big thing. If they really want it to be the Netflix like they stated, and really be able to push out these exclusives that are only through Game Pass, they need to start really putting out games in there that are going to want to make people play these. Yes, I've stated before that it's for people who aren't new to the Xbox ecosystem, to help get them something to put in there on the cheap, so that way they have a lot of old backwards compatible games and newer games to play, but they also need to put more to keep people invested in wanting to continue that service.
It's true. Noof, what do you think, man?
Well, there's a reason they call it Game Pass, because most of us are going to pass on it, and that's pretty much it. I haven't picked up Game Pass. You know what? I've seen nothing on there yet to entice me to get it. I know it's a great deal, but regardless, most of the games I really want, I just fork out and buy them physically. Anyway, you guys know how I feel about those physical discs. Let's go physical. But that's but what they're putting in there this month is not certainly something that would entice a new user. You're looking at those Xbox ads, on Twitter, and it's like, oh, this game, and this game, unless someone referred to it, unless you're a big Mega Man fan. I mean, Mega Man Collection's pretty cool, I get that, but the rest of them are pretty much, either you've never heard of them, or they're the kind of games that end up on your backlog. They're not something that you're just like, holy shit, I want to play that, I never got around to it, let's do it. There needs to be some big AAA heavy hitters, and I know there's plenty of them out there. It's just a matter of signing the deals and getting it done. So not an impressive month of games coming to Game Pass, in my personal opinion. So I'm not enticed to get it, and I don't know if I ever will, but I know there's a segue coming up here later on about Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold. So, but we'll talk on that later.
It's for sure. Let's Punk. What's your thoughts, and then we'll move on to the interesting idea of how to maybe improve this. What's your thoughts, man?
Hold on, man. I actually have my brother-in-law here, man. Can you skip me, please?
All right, cool.
Sorry.
So there's some rumors out there that Game Pass might be merging with Xbox Live Gold. Do you think that would be a good idea for Xbox? Is it something that you guys would take part in? Maybe if they do some kind of a sell price for both, or do you think this is a good idea for Xbox? What are you guys' thoughts?
I honestly think it's a great thing. It really is a good thing if they combine it, because one, that we already know how good Xbox Live servers are with the gold as it is. We know what they've built over the past, 10, 15 years with the Xbox Gold service and the online network that they made. And if they were to offer that in a package with the, with the Game Pass, it would help, one, because you're already getting one great service that you can stand behind with Gold. But it also puts more into what it can drive more sales towards Game Pass, get more people to use it for a little while, as well as put that revenue into it to see what it can kind of build to. They just have to make it at an affordable price that are going to make people want to, because we already know the breakdown right now for Gold for a year is $60, as well as if you did it all the way out for Game Pass is $120. They have to find a good price point that would fit, between that would be worthwhile to people. I honestly say $100 would be solid, maybe even $110, but that right around that spot would have to be that sweet spot for them to be able to get something out of both.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. I myself it'd be confusing if they did that. If they had different packages, like Noof was saying, that might be interesting and enticing. Because right now, I think I got Xbox Live Gold for like $30 for a year. So I don't know if it would be the same thing if they're combining both and they increase the price, if I'd be able to do that. But if I could find a deal like the same way for both, I mean, why not? You'd be getting more content. I don't know what they do with the Xbox games with Gold, probably get rid of them. Noof, what do you think of this potential idea? Is it something that you would do, or you think it would be good for the brand itself?
I think it would be amazing for the brand. I think personally, and this is what I would do if I was going to do this, guys. I think, like I said, $100 would be the sweet spot. If you give people the Gold membership and you give them a full year of Game Pass for $100, that's US, be about 120 Canadian, but either which way, damn good deal. But here's how I would sweeten that deal, okay? Here's how I would sweeten that deal. I would put in like a coupon for any game. You get one game per year, one game per year prescription, but it might be up to 60 to 70% off of any game that you want. So one game for a year, you get up to 70% off any game that you want also with us. And I would call it a Platinum Pass, Xbox Live Platinum. So you get everything and your choice of any game, 75% off during that full year. I think that would be pretty cool. I think that would be something to also entice people, because, hey, you want the new Call of Duty? Boom, you can get it from the marketplace, 75% off, but you get one pick. So once you use it, it's done. But that would be pretty enticing.
So essentially, all you would be doing was just adding a tier to, because there's Xbox Silver, Xbox Gold, and then you would have Xbox Platinum.
Yeah.
Wow. Someone hire this man. Phil Spencer, you listening?
That's what I would do, and I think if you don't go after that deal, then, man, you don't know what a good deal is. Smacking you right in the face,
only,
man.
Right? That's yearly only, right?
That yearly only, but even just think, you could get like, $60, $70, $80 game for 75% off at least one game. That's pretty enticing too, along with the Game Pass and your regular game Xbox Live Gold.
Yeah, it's true. Native, what do you think of that idea? Or do you have any
that
thoughts
idea?
on that?
Adding a separate tier. that's always welcomed in my opinion, just because it brings brings out the hardcore, and it really speaks to the hardcore, and that's amazing. Yeah. But personally, I think Xbox Live, the multiplayer aspect of it, should be free, and you would be getting just a couple different things with Xbox Live Gold. They would keep the deals. They would keep the games with Gold. They would integrate Game Pass with that subscription. But if you decided not to, multiplayer would be free. They did that. They did that with Netflix subscription and in Hulu. They made that stuff free when Phil Spencer came in. So I think that's the route that they would need to go.
Since you mentioned that, I want to talk about that. It's interesting, right? So essentially, Xbox Live is free on PC, right? And we're paying for Xbox Live. What do you guys think about making that free? Like, because Xbox, let's be honest, they're behind the eight ball when it comes to sales. It's already doubled when it comes to PlayStation, and they're trying to compete with them, and then Nintendo is going to pass them with overall sales. So they need to do something drastic when it comes to what they're doing. And I feel like the way to do that would be, hey, Xbox Live is free on consoles. Exactly. We're just going to make it across the board kind of a thing, because you imagine the way that would go? Because essentially it'd be reverse of what happened last gen, right? Because PlayStation 3 had free online. It was crappy, but Xbox Live cost money. I think that would be a good selling point because the rumors about the PlayStation 5 is it's going to be backwards compatible. And if that's the case, you're going to be hard pressed to get these people that are on PlayStation to come back over because they have all their games that are going to be on there. So you need to offer them something above and beyond to get them back into the brand. What do you guys think about free Xbox Live? What do you think about that? Same with chat. What do you guys think?
Well, that's the thing. You kind of said it. You said, well, PlayStation 3 was free, right? And it was crap. So that's what's going to exactly happen to Xbox if they get rid of that paid subscription, because that paid subscription is holding those servers together, basically. Like, you have to look at it from a business standpoint. Like, they're a business. They're gonna try to make money. Yes, it doesn't sound consumer friendly, but at the end of the day, we are paying for those servers so that those servers are always running and always fantastic, and they're always, that's why we get such a good connection with our friends and playing games and things like that. So if they got rid of that, it would fall apart. I honestly feel like it would fall apart. I mean, I
know you were kind of grumbling back there when he mentioned that it would fall apart. What are your thoughts about that? Like, it sounds like you don't agree.
No, I just had a question for him. Back with the PlayStation 3 days, their online being free and it being so shitty, because I remember that. Did they have any subscription services at all? Like, did they have PS Now back then? Did they have, the different, tiered subscriptions that they have now? Like, Microsoft now has Xbox. Okay, so
they had PS Plus later on, though.
Okay, see, later on, then that's when their service started getting a little bit better. We have Game Pass that people will be paying for. So that could, in turn, not only pay for the marketing licenses and not marketing licenses, excuse me, the just the content licensing for the games they're putting into Game Pass. Could also help the the backwards compatible department, but it could also fund the server side of the Xbox Live service.
Yeah, but you're looking at a jack in pricing there.
Yeah, you might look at
it's gonna be probably more than Xbox Live what we pay now for gold.
But I'm saying that's why you would bundle the Xbox Live service right now with the Game Pass, but multiplayer would be a free option. If you decided not to go that route, you still have the option of playing free. Now, if they tear it off, what Noof was saying, if they tear it off in that direction, people would have more incentive to go and pick up that platinum subscription. And thus it's going to just fund, and it's going to be a revolving door of revenue. So, I mean, that's just my thought on it. PS3 didn't have any subscription services at all when their service was their shittiest.
Here's another way they could do it, right? Let's say they add an extra tier to Xbox Live. Great. But another thing is they should make Xbox Live Silver. They should make that tier more beneficial. They should make they could potentially make that, because that one's free, right, to have a silver membership. But that's the thing. You could play online. They should make it where you could play most of the stuff online. But if you opt to go with the silver, then you basically are going to opt out of party chat, and you're going to opt out of all these special features that Xbox give you. Exactly. That should be the way it goes, because look, these shit cost money. As fans, look, as it's a pipe dream. Yes, we'd all love to have it, but look, if Sony thought free online was good, they'd still be doing it. It didn't make them any money last year, and it actually costed them more money to upkeep the servers. They saw that Microsoft was making hand over fist. Look, nobody can guarantee a game sale. That's unguaranteed. But what you can guarantee is anybody who wants to play online needs to have a subscription. So that's guaranteed income, and that is why these services work well. Now, the difference between PC is PC never had it to begin with. It's very hard to charge somebody money for something that was free to begin with, because there's always going to be that argument, well, it was free, I don't want it. It's bullshit. It doesn't matter if they charge you 50 cents. There's going to be that idiot that says 50 cents is too much because it was free. That's how it's going to go. So, look,
well, that's the thing. A lot of their games don't work. on their on the whole time.
PlayStation Plus, right? PlayStation Plus came out on the PS3, but the reason they were giving away the free games in the beginning wasn't because Sony was like, "Oh, we should just give our fans free games. We can afford to." No, it was because they were trying their fucking damnedest to bring over the free base over to the Plus base. And that was their enticement. We're got to give them something or they're not going to move over. Now, with PlayStation 4, they moved into a completely different console. So that basically meant they could sort of do that because, you know what I mean? Like, because PlayStation now or PSN is still free on PlayStation 3, but you got to pay for it now on PS4 because they moved into a different generation. Their costs are their high end costs are much higher now with these new consoles and new games. So you see where I'm going with this. But I think that if Microsoft wanted, they could do the silver membership with some online access, but if you choose to go silver, you gotta waive the things that make gold awesome, like party chat, like the bonuses. You gotta waive your games with gold. All that shit goes out the window, but yes, you can play online. I think that could be an option. It'll be kind of like the old Xbox Live on the original 360 before the game chat came along.
Yeah, and I want to hop off of what you said, Noof, as well as what you were mentioning as well earlier, Native, because Brujo X actually made a good point. Is that right now on the Xbox One, if you have one account that has gold, you have that family sharing where it shares it between all of them, and y'all are right that there are certain aspects that they can do to entice each tier. Don't have that anymore. But they don't have that anymore. Well, either way, the one thing that they can do as well is that they can make the tiers actually enticable, like you were mentioning, because we've seen with the Xbox Silver that they've done those free gold weekends where you can play multiplayer games or certain games for free all weekend long or anything. They do big things like that. If they made multiplayer free, well, I wouldn't say get rid of party chat for silver members. You know, that would be the big thing that I would say keep, but smaller
game
things.
Chat? Wait, hold on, Bloody. Just to get some clarification. Are you talking about party chat where you invite somebody to the party?
Yeah,
or are you
party chat. I'm not game chat, party chat. But keep small things. Like party chat's one thing, being able to send messages and then free multiplayer, that's good. However, with the gold, they can do things like the sales that they already have for Xbox Gold members, give those better discounts to entice more people to use that for a longer period of time. And we already know that they're switching things up as they're stepping away right now from the Xbox rewards and combining it with their Microsoft rewards. They are still giving a lot of people who are using that program for so long enticement to keeping their gold as well as transferring it over. They have to do each tier right and make it enticing to have that step. And as y'all said it before with the bundling, make a new tier, make it somewhat enticable to want to pay that higher cost to have both of those services that you work and are trusted, as well as being able to expand it from there.
There's so many different routes.
You guys are thinking from the perspective of a consumer, which is great. Yes, that's fantastic. And you guys have really great points. But you guys got to remember, Microsoft makes a shit ton of money off of Xbox Live. They make a ton. And why would they ever want to get rid of, gold or, give you free multiplayer when they're making so much off of just, people paying for gold?
The same could be said about Game Pass. Why would Xbox ever decide to give you 150 games, 150 plus games for $10 a month when they could easily say, you know what,
that's probably going to go up eventually, actually.
So, yeah, it might, but there's still they have the option of saying no. If you want to play that old game, you want to play that old, the backwards compatible games. If you want to play this game, that game, just buy it outright.
So
the same could be said with that.
Here's the deal. I think options are good when it comes to consumers and for the most part. And even we're not saying across the board that it'd even be possible. That's just a pipe dream, right? But if Xbox instituted a way for people to play online, let's say that people don't really care about party chat or whatever, it doesn't say it's instituted across the board, but if you give an option for people to say, hey, you can have online, like you can play with others online, like Fortnite or whatever, but you're not going to be able to party up and all the other stuff. That's just a concession, a small little one. If you look at Nintendo, they're doing this online shit. They don't even have parties. You can't message your friends, and people are going to be paying $20 for it, So that's on that level. Like Xbox, is making tons of money off their software, and that's where their money comes from. But at the same time, you know, you can have people that say, hey, you're on the PC side, you're offering it for free. Like, why am I paying for it? And it's like, well, okay, you can get this free. I understand that. But you could say, hey, you could get this free option, but it's pretty much dog shit. You know what I'm saying? But you could still play online, but you're not going to get any of these other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, party chat could be out of the way.
You can do that.
You can leave in the, you know, not many people. I don't know how many of you guys use it, but the looking for group function that's in there, that's native to the Xbox, that thing is amazing. If they just left that in there with being able to play multiplayer,
yeah,
you know, with that free tier that you want to go. You know, if you have that function, there you go. Utilizing game chat, utilizing that feature that's entire. I mean, it's so underrated. It's frustrating, that LFG function. But I mean, that alone, I mean, there's all these different features and routes that you can go with Xbox because they have all of those features like LFG. They have the 4K, you know, clips and everything, screenshots. You can tier that off too. I mean, there's so many different routes that you can go.
So I think the important thing to look at here is it's kind of a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
The fact that they'd be able to come out and say, hey, we have free Xbox Live, but in the small print it says you can't do this, right? Mm-hmm. And then you would say that, and it's a buzzword, and it gets some of the casuals to come back over that necessarily are over with PlayStation, because there's a lot of casuals there. It's not everybody, but there's a ton, right? It has to make up millions and millions of people that are buying the system. I think it's just a way to get people back into the fold. It's just an option, right?
Well, I think I summed it up best earlier when I said, like I said, that silver tier needs to be more than just an entry level. That should be an all access pass. Like I said, they just need to add more features to entice people to stay on gold or to upgrade to gold, but give people the option, if they want to stay with silver, they can play online. But again, you take out a lot of the things that make gold special. For me, Xbox, the gold for me was always about the party chat. It was about connecting with your friends. So if these things are gone, fine, you can still talk through game chat, right? But that's different. But to be able to have the parties, et cetera, et cetera. Remember, a service is a service. It doesn't matter if it's video games or it's the car industry. For example, we all play our video game systems every day. We all drive our cars back and forth every day. But you know what? You don't get a car and then drive it to your dealer when the tire goes flat or you got a little problem and say, well, I need you to fix it. I need you to fix it for free because I expect that. No, but they're going to laugh you out of the fucking office. They're going to say, get the hell out of here. People don't do shit for free. Time is not free. Your time, your knowledge costs money. To update servers, to do updates, to fix shit on the fly when stuff is broken, it takes people to do it. There's nobody on this panel that say, oh, well, there's something wrong with the game you just sold me, and expect you to go back in for 8, 9 hours, 10 hours and fix that shit on the fly. You got to get paid for it, right? That's how the world works. So people got to give up this notion we want everything for free. All of a sudden our generations become we want more, but we want it for less. I mean, give that shit up, guys. Shit costs money, time costs money. These are multi-billion-dollar corporations. Sure, they're making money hand over fist on Xbox Live, but if Xbox all of a sudden says, hey, let's do this stuff for free, there's no going back. If they go for free and then all of a sudden people don't run out and buy Xboxes, well, guess what? Microsoft is only going to lose a ton of money because that is their cash cow. And then where are they going to be? Oh, we just screwed ourselves in the foot because the Sony fans didn't come over and buy our Xbox now. That's the way it is.
There won't be no more Xbox.
There won't be an Xbox.
That's
so there you go. So you want all those big AAA $5 million exclusives? Sorry, they won't be coming very fast then.
It's true. All right, let's. I think we beat that into the ground, but let's move on to the next topic. Detroit Become Human. It's a game that's popping on PlayStation. It's a game that's been touted for a while. It hasn't been on my radar because that's not my type of game. It's currently sitting at an 80 on Metacritic. What are you guys' thoughts on this this title? It's in my opinion, it's a glorified Telltale game, but what are you guys' thoughts about the Metacritic score, and are you interested in it? Let's talk about it. Dark, I know that you have some thoughts on here, so you can start it off.
Yeah, man. I mean, you said it's a glorified Telltale game, but this is Telltale before Telltale. Okay, this was like, you know, the pinnacle. This is going to be the pinnacle of those type of games because of the fact that, you know, Quantic Dream has been around for so long and they've implemented so many things into their games that have really made them more like a game than a movie. They're more interactive now than they used to be. You know, it's a better experience, you know, when you get their games. I'm super excited for it. As you guys can hear from my voice, I'm absolutely cannot wait to play this game. It's been on my radar for so long. I've looked into it before, you know, and you know, and this was like a little like teaser demo on the PS3. They had like, I think it was called Kara or something like that, and then they finally turned it into a game, and it was just like, oh man. And then finding out it was set in Detroit, which, you know, I'm from Michigan, so represent, you know, Detroit over there. It just, you know, it brings so much, you know, of the feels for me because of the fact that I like, you know, it's set in Detroit and it's a sci-fi, it's a cyberpunk type of you know, game. It puts, you know, it feels like Blade Runner at times, you know, in certain circumstances. And I just have to say, like, it's more than Telltale. If you guys are thinking it's like a Telltale game, it's more than that. And you should try it out. I mean, you know, maybe not buy it. I don't suggest anybody who is not a fan of it to buy it. I suggest, you know, either you know, rent it, or, you know, if PlayStation had it, Game Pass it. You know, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that to them. But, you know, if they had it, then they could have done it. But, you know, I think, you know, renting it or something like that, or borrow it from a friend, definitely, you know, try it out if you can.
Nice. So the 80 is not scaring you away? That 80 Metacritic score?
Man. That Metacritic score, these games always get that kind of like, you know, that lower Metacritic score because of the fact that it's not a game for everybody. It's definitely like, if you're not interested in it and you're not a fan of the Quantic Dream games, then you're probably not going to like this. But if you are a fan of Telltale games and you play the Telltale games and you've never played a Quantic Dream game, definitely try it out.
It's true. I feel like State of Decay is kind of the same way. It's kind of a niche type title, you know, resource management and stuff like that. So I think some of these games out there, you know, suffer with their scores, and that's kind of why you can't really take these Metacritic scores too seriously. Anybody else on the panel excited for this game? Not excited? Let's talk about it. Noof, what do you think, man?
I'll first start off by saying, yes, I played the only Quantic Dream game I actually played was Heavy Rain. I did download the other one. What was that one? Just Beyond Two Souls. I just downloaded it. I'll probably give it a try. It was free anyway, so I probably got to give it a try. But I'm not really a fan of that genre game, period. Like, I mean, I download all the Telltale stuff too because I enjoy the story, I guess. But I'm not a real big fan of narrative-based games that's like up, down, you know, quick time based story narrative games, I guess is what, if you want to call them that. I mean, I think, yes, Quantic Dream games are probably a little step above that. There's a little more implementation in their games, and they are great graphically looking games and great stories with some really cool outcomes and stuff. I'll give them that, but they're just not my cup of tea. I enjoyed Heavy Rain to an extent, but they're not the kind of games I want to go out and pay $60-$70 for. You know, Until Dawn, Don Duke brings up in the chat, Until Dawn was actually the only one that I really got into that was in that similar mold. I really enjoyed that one for something. But as far as this game and the ratings, I don't really care. I mean, if we're going to care about the rating here now of this particular game, then we're all going to be hypocrites, because I know we certainly cursed out enough people that you know, shit on the ratings for State of Decay and Sea of Thieves, et cetera, et cetera. So, like, at the end of the day, a good game's a good game. It's all perspective, right? Somebody's going to love it, somebody's going to hate it, and that's cool. That's the way this business goes. But I mean, you know, go and try it. If you like these type of games at all, if you're a fan of Quantic Dreams, I have no doubt that Detroit Become Human will be another awesome game in your collection. If you're not, then you might want to just try the demo or just rent it or something. That's all I can say. But don't let the ratings bring you down. Make your own judgment. Be an adult and not a stupid troll and follow the mold and just make your own choices.
And that's the thing. 80 is not a bad score at all.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
I'm sure a lot of you guys would take 80s in high school, right?
Shoot, I would even take a 70 in high school. Shoot, man.
Shit.
No, I got curious, and so I started looking up the Metacritic scores for some of the Telltale games. And Telltale: The New Frontier, which is their latest installment of the Walking Dead series, which I absolutely loved. I loved how they capped off that last installment, but that had a 69 on Xbox One. So if this comes out with an 80, and like you said, Dark, if it is in the same vein, or if it started the vein, if it started that bloodline of episodic games, maybe not so much as episodic, but story-driven, narrative-driven, decision-making, not so much as morality, but just those core decision-making skills that would affect the story, if it started that, then I'm definitely curious about it. If anything, I'll watch somebody stream it, and I'll donate to that person or something for streaming it. But I don't have a PlayStation 4, but if I did, I'm damn sure that I would have picked it up. I'm damn sure. I like the idea of robots. I like the idea of androids. Like I've been saying, like I said earlier, I want to see the humanity in these video games. I like knowing that something can take on those human qualities, those human traits, and have those human emotions. And if they could do that with an android, I'm all over it. I mean, that stuff it speaks to me. So I'm excited. I'm happy for it, obviously, and I just hope it does well, dude. I hope that it continues to be loved on. And if we can get one of those, those silent drops, like what's that game that came out? What was it? Is it Hellblade? No, the Senua's Sacrifice one. What's that called?
Yeah, Hellblade.
If it got one of those things where it got that same treatment where it's like, hey, Xbox, here you go. Here you go. It's kind of like behind the back.
I doubt it, man.
I doubt it.
It's not going to happen.
If it did, that would be so amazing. But
the only Quantic Dream game that was actually on the Xbox was on the original Xbox. Was Indigo Prophecies. Yes.
Yeah.
So bloody, what do you think, man?
Oh, I'm right there with Dark. I'm absolutely excited. I'm glad he brought up Indigo Prophecy, Fahrenheit, because that was one of the first games I remember playing long ago, and I actually had bought it again on Steam. And that's one of those games that I know will not be backwards compatible just because of licensing issues because of the music in that game, but I would kill for it to be. And I've loved Quantic Dream. Heavy Rain was one of my favorites because I do enjoy the Telltale games, because I even said this on Twitter with Lord Kaibatsu and Lord Cognito, is that these games are the evolution and epitome of those old choose your adventure novels. They really are. You make your own story by following what's there, and they do really well. Heavy Rain was one of the first games that pushed that. You have 4 or 5 main characters that you're following. If you screw up with one of them and they die, that's it. The story continues on with everyone else. You're not going to see that person's the rest of his story and how it ties all together. It's very unique in what they're doing with Beyond, or what they're doing with Detroit. I love, because I'm a nerd. I love sci-fi. I love the fact that they're going very futuristic, not dystopian, but in that aspect of we create androids, we create true AI. What happens when they finally, stand up and start to experience what we think, free will and all that? Because we've seen that in other stories. Look at Mass Effect. We saw that between the Geth and the Quarian. This one, we're actually getting to play as the opposite. We're not playing as a human. We're playing as the androids and everything. And that's unique. Each game that Quantum Dream puts out always has a very special story and tie-in theme. That everything in Heavy Rain, it always made sense to the fact of the rain. It all made sense throughout the story, as you saw in each progression, that it talks about the rain getting deeper. We saw that in Beyond Two Souls, why she was always talking about about the person that she's connected to with the main character. And what we're going to see with this, I really want to see what they do. I'm absolutely excited. I don't care about these scores. I love the Telltale games. People hated on the Walking Dead ones, but those stories made me cry. I loved Fable with what was it? Wolf Among Us, because Fable. No, I was trying to think of the name, but Wolf Among Us was one of the best adaptations of the Fable comics. No one has been able to capture the essence of the Fable comics.
That was fun.
Like they did. Like Bigsby, aka the Big Bad Wolf, was well captured, voiced professionally well.
Yep.
So done. He captured his personality. Like, I love what Telltale can do when they have the right studio, and what Quantic Dream has done with the past. I don't care about scores. I've never been one of those people. If it appeals to me, I'm all for it. And this is one of those games that's not going to appeal to everyone, but it is a game that's an experience. And it's something that some people should either watch and enjoy what someone else is going through and experience it with them, or enjoy it yourself, because your choices and how you would react to certain things may not be the same that someone else does. It'll be tuned to what you would do.
Dude, you just got me more excited.
Dude,
I mean, that argument.
I enjoyed the shit out of Super Lucky Steals last year, and that certainly wasn't no critically acclaimed game by any means, but I didn't enjoy it any less.
Yeah, can we just all say fuck Metacritic at this point? And that just goes across the board. I mean,
they need to go away.
Yeah, it is one of those things. Just fuck it. Enjoy what you enjoy.
I'm not saying it sways one way or another. I think in general, it's just not a way to judge games, man. I think you just need to listen to people that you trust. If you want to wait, your local YouTuber that wants to do a review on it. If you trust them, then do that, or just buy it yourself. Hell.
Yeah, follow your heart.
Way to do that, right? Follow your dreams and your heart. Punk.
There we go. Let me get a hashtag fuck Metacritic go in that chat.
Yeah, seriously.
Believe in
that
the
hashtag going. Punk, are you gonna pick this game up? I know you have a PlayStation 4.
Now, first, let me apologize for leaving, man. I had to take care of some stuff. Brother-in-law popped in, so I apologize for that, guys. No, this game, Metacritic, bullshit. Who cares? Like you said, we're all in agreement with that. As for the game, I'm kind of with you, Salty. I don't hate those games, but like I think the first one I actually played was like the Telltale games, was like the Walking Dead series, and like it was fun. And then I just can't, like, what do they usually do, like 5 chapters or something for one? Like I'll do those 5, and then like I can't continue. Like I just tried to do the was it Back to the Future, what we got for free on Gold a couple months back?
Yeah,
I didn't even play it. And like a lot of the games that they make, like you love the movies and stuff, but when I play the games, like I can't stay engaged. Like I get bored really fast. It's just because it's not for me. And I don't hate them, but I'm not going to sit there and I'm not putting in 30 hours on this game. I'll get the first couple achievements and then I'm done and I'm just back to something else. It's not for me, man. I will not be picking up this game, but I hope it does well. I mean, but if it's on PlayStation, it has a good chance to sell well.
It's true.
I think the writer for Kotaku actually said he finished Detroit Become Human in 10 hours.
10 hours.
Each segment of each like Android that you play is broken into 20 to 25-minute segments. So I think that's pretty interesting, and I think that would definitely keep me engaged, because when I see when I watch a show and there's multiple characters that you're following, there's multiple storylines. I'm watching this one character and then they cut off like at the weirdest moment, and it's like a mini cliffhanger. Then it jumps to another character. It's like, I don't give a fuck about that character. I want to go back to the other one. So you have to watch.
Yeah, that's the worst.
And then you jump back. Yeah, and I think it's the same thing, same concept. So
I think that's probably where for me where I kind of lose that spark. You're like, you go to that character, some scene, you're like, and like now you're killing it for me. I need to get back to the important shit.
It's true. I don't know. I kind of just get bored with them too quick, but I think it will do well in that audience on PlayStation. They like that type of game, that narrative. But we'll move on to the next topic here. It's an interesting one, honestly. So at an earnings call, I believe, or some kind of thing for their stockholders, PS5. So PlayStation, they were talking about stuff, and then the CEO, John Codera, had this weird quote, and I'll read it to you guys. So he said, basically, we will use the next 3 years to prepare for the next step, to crouch down so that we can jump higher in the future. Future, if I can read. Codera said, according to the Wall Street Journal, this follows similar statements made from Sony earlier, which said that the PlayStation 4 was nearing the end of its life cycle. So if you read between the lines here, it kind of sounds like they're going to be phasing out the PlayStation 4, but it's going to be a while. Like we're talking about 2021, if that comes to fruition. What are you guys' thoughts on this quote? It's kind of I don't know. It's hard to read, right? The fact that he said that they're gonna crouch down so that they can jump higher in the future. So, what do you guys think of the situation?
Definitely jump higher than Kratos currently can.
That game was awesome.
So let me just put it this way: if he did hint, because there's some articles that have come out since then, and they're kind of damage controlling what happened or what they actually said, and they're like, no, that's not the date that the PlayStation 5 is going to be coming out, and they try to explain it away. But I really do think that he was talking about when, like, I don't know if it was mistaken or not, but I think 2021 is going to be the time that they drop the PlayStation 5. And if this is the case, I think this gives Xbox a leg up because they know when their competition is going to be phasing out their product or moving towards the next gen, and they can prepare as such. Like, what do you guys think? I think this is interesting. I've always said 2020 for the PlayStation 5. 2021 is about the same. I think that the PlayStation 4 is having so much success right now that it would be kind of stupid for PlayStation to start moving into the next gen system. They're just basically printing money at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Noof, what do you think, man?
Well, I'm personally okay with it. I'm very happy with the gen that we have right now. Like I said, my backlog is so long. I'm not basically clamoring like, oh my god, like we've seen already with games like God of War and various others that, they're still pumping amazing graphics out of this current gen of systems. And this on a console, like you see, look at the PS4, can pump out God of War, and it's on a 1.8 teraflop hardware. So I think there's still plenty of room left in the pipe. I would love to see Microsoft though up the ante and really first of all, Microsoft needs to get aggressive with pricing, especially on the X. They need to pump these things out now and show you why and show you kind of where the next gen is going, because I think the X has enough potential to basically show us a glimpse of next gen without going full into it. I just don't think anybody's really tapped the console yet other than try to stretch the resolution. But we're not talking about resolution, we're talking about actual graphics. And I'd love to see somebody get really underneath the hood of this puppy and pump out a game that's like, wow, and that makes me want an X. And they got to get aggressive with price, and I think this might be the E3 they do that. I really think Microsoft's got to go all out. They got to finish hard for the next 2 or 3 years, because that could be the window before everything changes. But I'm not in a rush for no new consoles, Sony or Xbox. I've spent a lot of money on hardware. I think a lot of us have. I think a lot of us have spent more money on consoles this generation than we ever did in our lives before. I think like last generation, most of us spent money on a lot of Xboxes because they all fucking red ringed. But but outside of that, like, I mean, I'm hearing like podcasters talk about having like the Xbox One Fat and the Xbox One S and having 2 or 3 versions of each. There's some guys out there now like Tim Dog that got like 3 or 4 Xbox One X's, and Mooch got 1 or 2, I think, in his house, not to mention the PS4 Pros. I mean, so like, we all got backlogs, right? So we need some time to get through the games. I think we already got 2020. Okay, 2020 is cool. 2020 I can handle, but I don't want to see nothing before then.
True. I've said it before. If you're just shooting yourself in the foot if you come out with the system earlier than those time period. Like I said, it's a money printing machine. So who else? Native, what do you think, man? 2021, 2020. Do you think the Xbox could come out earlier, kind of step in front of PlayStation since they have this information? What do you think, man?
Honestly, I wouldn't want Xbox or Microsoft to come out with a console earlier than 2020, or even second quarter 2020, because I'm banking on PS5 dropping fourth quarter of 2020. That sits in my gut. I'm going with my gut, and that's what I'm calling it. That's how I'm calling it. But I wouldn't want to see Xbox come out 2020, first quarter, second quarter. Oh, here's the new Xbox. I don't want to see that. I want them to, wait it out. I want them to get their fillers out there and put out something really great, something of quality, just the same way that PS5 is going to be. I mean, it's going to be a quality console. That's what I feel. And did John Codera also mention something about a handheld? Bloody, I think you're probably the person to call on because you're like the resident knowledge of article dumb. So I don't know if you know, but somebody had heard somewhere that there's.
Yeah, I've heard rumblings about the handheld situation.
So I'm thinking if anything comes out or is teased at this E3, it's probably going to be the handheld. That'll probably drop 2019, and then console come 2020.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
That's my guessing. That's my guess. And
that's
what I would like to see.
Come in my pants for a handheld. Come on, bring it.
Okay. So, and thanks for pulling me out on that one, Native. And yeah, I'll kind of clarify on it. Is that one? What they stated is that what I'm getting is that they know that right now is because we've seen it with everything that after a while sales start to stagnate and then slowly decline. While the PS4 is still selling really well, we started seeing that it slowly is teetering off. It already hit its peak. It's already plateaued. So it's slowly going to start selling less because at this point in the generation, everyone who wanted a PS4 is going to have a PS4. Doesn't mean it's not going to stop selling, but they are planning for the future right now. And 3 years is, he tried to backpedal on it. But I stated before that 2021 is when I've thought about it. And if you look at every console launch except for the PS3, they've always done it in between September to November. So they're more than likely we're going to see it in quarter 3 of the 2021 year. So we're going to see it around October to November of 2021. That's my estimate on it. And he did state that the future right now is portable. We've seen that with the success of Nintendo and everything else as well with the Switch, but as well as just how much people are able to use their phones and things like that. He knows that the future has to have that sort of portable mobile aspect, but if they do that, they have to incorporate it right with what they have right now in the future of PlayStation, because we saw how they implemented it with the Vita, and that lasted 1 to 2 years, and then they quickly dropped it. If they really believe that it is portable, if they really believe that the future is mobile and all that aspects, they need to realize that now they need to double down on it and focus on doing it the right way. Because if they don't, they'll just repeat what they did with the Vita and give it an early death. Because because while they were still getting games later on, it was nowhere near the aspect of what it was making before. It was nowhere near the support in the first 2 years it got. After the third year, it basically teetered off. Yeah, they were giving away free games still, but there was nothing left to strong support it. They did the same thing with the PSP, with the PS Vita, like they did with the PSP Go.
So how could they not repeat the issues that they had with the Vita? Like, I know it's a copycat league when it comes to gaming. So do you think they'd have the balls to straight up copy the Switch? I know that there's some, things out there that would prevent it, but the fact that you could go portable and dock the system, I know there's ways that they could get around that and like try to, copy that system, but not exactly. Like there'd have to be a way that they, separate themselves from the Vita because it wasn't successful. You come out with another handheld, people think that you're just going to repeat the past, Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how they would go about that and kind of tell their audience, hey, it's going to be different this time.
Well, Vita had the hardware. Vita just didn't bring the games for a long enough period of time. Sony gave up on it before they even got it going. And as a matter of fact, I think Sony was just too sidetracked with the PS3, and they didn't properly know how to advertise the Vita. They blamed a lot of its failures on the cell phone market, which wasn't true. I just think that, they brought out one Uncharted game. They didn't ever bring out a full-fledged God of War game on it. You know what I mean? Like, it had tons of potential. It just wasn't realized. And of course, the biggest factor with Sony Vita was those stupid proprietary memory cards. I wish companies would knock off with that garbage, making their own bullshit so that they could charge you 4 times the price. Like, if they had just went with standard SD cards, oh my God, it would have been so much easier. But no, they had to go with their own. At least Nintendo was smart enough to go with the micro SDs. so at least they didn't pull that junk.
You know, I just wanna preface this with saying Sony is not a hardware company. They don't do hardware. They're an entertainment company. That's them. They're not a hardware company. So with the PS Vita and the PSP, the hardware wasn't there to support what they had in mind as far as the games and everything like that. You look at the PS4 and that thing's, you know, it's a great machine. You look at the future coming PS5 and what they could do with that. I strongly feel like they have a good foothold in what to expect as far as, you know, their hardware coming out with a new handheld. They would have a better foothold. They have a better understanding of how the hardware is going to work with their vision. I think that they've been, you know, in this circle for long enough period of time to say, okay, we know what we need to do to make this work. They have the Switch as an example. They've had the Nintendo DS as an example, but I don't know how they fell apart with that thing, with their PS Vita, how they let it go so fast. But I just think that they have a better foothold in hardware. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's interesting, to say the least. If they go this route, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if I would be interested in picking up a PlayStation Portable, the way that I am with the Switch, because the concept that, you know, all their games that they're releasing for the Switch are the same. It's not going to be like they're separate. Like, hey, these are the games you play on the portable, and these are the games you play on the other system. They're just one thing, you know. And the Switch is so dominant right now that it's going to be hard to separate yourself in that market.
Well, here's a cool thing. Why don't video games then bring out a portable and do it the way that movie companies are doing it now with 4K Blu-rays and etc., where you buy the Blu-ray and you get the digital copy, and there you go, boom, you buy your game disc, you get a digital copy for your portable, take it anywhere, boom. You know, I think that's a possibility too. That could be absolutely detrimental. Of course, with portable, I can see why you'd want to get rid of physical cartridge formats and stuff like that. You just need the battery life, a great, obviously, memory card format, and a portable that can do decent bandwidth as well, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say the least, because obviously you're going to have the PlayStation 4. It's going to drop to that juicy price point of $200 eventually. It hasn't hit that, and it's going to continue to sell. But with these words of what he's, you know, saying within the next 3 years, it's definitely a market that we see that has value there. I just wonder how Microsoft would react to these things. Do they even care? Obviously they don't, because I don't see them making a portable anytime soon. They're going to go the cloud route, or try to stream to your mobile devices. I think that's the route that Xbox will take, specifically Microsoft, but they'll just be out of that game. You know, you'll have PlayStation with portable, Nintendo portable, and then I don't know, Xbox is off to the side. So it's interesting to think about, honestly. It's a great topic. Anybody else have anything else to say? Punk, what do you think?
Oh, first of all, I do know I will not get burned by another portable by Sony. The first PSP was great. I had a blast on that, and the Vita came out, and Golden Abyss Uncharted was awesome. And then it, like you said, it just fell flat on its face, and there's just nothing there. And then you'd find yourself going to the store looking for games, and there's just nothing, dude. It was brutal, and I wound up selling it. I think because they had the slim one come out, or like all digital. Yeah. But okay, everything's gonna go digital now, you know, and it didn't have the OLED screen on it anymore. I was like, you know, okay, it's lighter, it's cooler, flips up, right? This is cool. And then again, I never bought anything for it and just wound up selling it again. So I will not get burned unless they really showed a pattern of where they're gonna support it, which will probably never happen.
You know, the interesting thing about what they learned from the PS Vita is that if you really think, no, they actually did. Think about that. Let me tell you this, because
you can't change my mind. But go ahead.
No. Trust me, I don't want you to change your mind, because the PS Vita was treated like crap. It ended up being crap. They didn't support it, so you know, right. it got the shit stick, and it was waving it around. But here's what they learned from it, right? What they did with the hardware of the Vita was, one, they had the OLED screen. Remember, that was the first time that they were using the touch sensors that were on the back of the device. What did they use with that touch sensor? They ended up translating it into the controllers for the PS4 and improving upon the connection with the lights that they had on it, on how it connected with the PS4 console. So they were able to adapt the technology that they tested with the PS Vita onto what they did with the PS4. Now, if they want to do the opposite, they'd have to really figure out what's helping the PS4 and how they can what they're going to do with the PS5 and translate it back. But they did learn one aspect from the Vita going into the next console generation.
You're talking about the touchpad though? Like no one even uses that on the controller.
No, I get. I know that. No, I know they don't use it, but they translated it because they improved upon it. But they just don't ever make use of it again. They make the steps in the hardware when they do. However, their failures are the fact that they're not utilizing anything that they make. That's their problem. They put out all this stuff. This is why they're an entertainment company, and every other aspect of what they do is failing. Is while they make good stuff, sometimes it's high price and it's low tier, just because of the fact that it has the name Sony on it. But the thing is, they don't utilize what they have and properly market it. While the touchpad was a cool addition to the PS4, they aren't putting out games that are utilizing it. What they had it in the very beginning with Uncharted 4, I think, and a couple other games. Where is it now? 5 years later, they completely stopped doing anything with it. They don't utilize their own hardware. That's their issue. We saw it with Microsoft with what they did with the Kinect and the issues that had, and they phased that out. But Sony's not doing the same thing. Yeah. They're not learning at those points.
Honestly, just to kind of conclude this topic, I just think it'd be surprising. Honestly, I've heard these rumors, but I don't see it happening. If it does, I'll be surprised. Man, it'd be out of left field, honestly. So we'll move on to the next topic. Battlefield 5 revealed the snooze fest that it was for me, at least.
How dare you?
Battlefield 5, man, dang. So we had the reveal. What was it, yesterday? Yeah. Time goes by too quick. They're sitting at a desk, ESPN style, and they're just going back and forth. And it took so long for them to actually get to the gameplay footage. When they revealed it, it kind of looked like a DLC for Battlefield 1, CGI, lots of CGI stuff. Not a lot of gameplay. I was disappointed in this. Definitely don't want to pick it up. I was on Xbox Nation. We had this huge back and forth about Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5, and I want to have that same discussion here because honestly, we have some controversy when it comes to Battlefield 5 too, and we'll talk about that. But what did you guys think of this reveal? Are you guys hyped for Battlefield 5?
Dude, okay, we're gonna have a debate here because I'm a huge Battlefield fan. Okay, I love me some Battlefield.
Let's go, Dark.
Dark right here. And that's the thing, like the Black Ops, it's cool. But that's the thing that for me, I need that single player campaign. I need more for my multiplayer and my maps. The maps have to be, big. I love the big maps. I love feeling like I'm in a war. Like, the reveal, yes, I will agree with you, Salty. It wasn't that good. Like it was, Trevor Noah coming out and doing his thing and doing his comedy and all that stuff. That was, so he had some funny moments, but I was like, dude, like we don't need all this joking around and stuff. Just show us the freaking game already, And I was like, and then I saw the trailer and I was all like, oh, sweet, like this looks good, and it's set in World War II. Here's what I think they're gonna do, They're going to go World War I, World War II, Korea War, and then Vietnam, and then they'll go to more modern day stuff. So, we're going to get, more from Battlefield than just, these past, type of wars that they've been putting out for their games. It's just, like this game speaks more to me than Black Ops 4 did, because I was all like, I saw the reveal. They did a good job. I'm not gonna give them credit where credit is due for them, because they did a good job at revealing that. But at the same time, I was looking at it like they're just copying Fortnite and PUBG. Like Battle Royale for me is, and I know a lot of guys on this panel love Battle Royale, but for me, Battle Royale is trash, man.
Be careful.
I cannot handle that shit. Like
Dark, don't hold back. Be controversial.
And that's the thing, you know, like I know that's that's controversial. That's not something that is the norm right now because everybody is loving that Battle Royale. But for me, nah, man, I'm not with it. But I do see a potential with the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale with the air, land, and sea vehicles and like that kind of stuff. But I feel like it might get a little too hectic there. It's going to be interesting, man, especially come October when both of these games drop. It's going to be really like who's going to get Battlefield and who's going to get Black Ops 4. And I think for me personally, Battlefield 5 is where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going to stay. I'm not going to get no more Call of Duties.
Lame. All right.
Okay, Artemis, I stand behind you. I stand behind you.
So you guys are all on that Battlefield train? Who else?
I'm gonna be the most neutral here.
Okay.
All right.
So
go for it.
Okay. So me, I love shooters. I don't deny that. However, I'm not sold on either one. While conceptually what Black Ops 4 is doing with the blackout mode and how it's going, the big battle royale, we knew about that for months. We kind of figured it was going to happen. Yeah. Everyone's trying to do it because everyone's being coattail riders right now. We've seen it from every game that's come out. What they're doing too is what they stepped away from the campaign. I was in the small minority that actually enjoyed the campaigns and really thought that they were trying to getting better. I did enjoy the multiplayer, but over a while it got ridiculous because while Modern Warfare 2 and the first Black Ops was really great multiplayer, when they started going into Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3 and all that, it got more fast paced that it became a more so heavy Twitch shooter. And there was no real firefights. There was just, if you come around the corner and see me first, then I'm dead. If you come around the corner and see me first, I'm dead, or vice versa. Either way. But the thing is, like it started getting ridiculous, and you started seeing that they started copying stuff from their other games because in Black Ops 3 they copied the Destiny aspect and gave the characters unique ability, hero abilities. They get their own ultimates when they do stuff. Like the girl who has the six shooter that can one shot a dude, or the guy with the bow and then the grenade launcher and everything else. They started pulling things from them. They started copying themselves, and it started to show. Now we're seeing this with what they're doing in Black Ops 4. It's cool. I love the fact that the interesting thing for me was zombies mode. They say it's going to be this big thing, new hero, new stories, new characters, and that's going to expand generations of all the zombie lore. That's cool. But they're also adding it into the blackout mode, and that's going to take a lot of tweaking from things because of the fact that with the way that I said before, it was very fast-paced. How are they going to tone that down to make it more tactical, to make it fit for Battle Royale? Call of Duty doesn't fit that. Now, what they're doing with Battlefield 5, I love what they've slowly switched up and tried doing. Battlefield 3 being the more last modern day one was real cool. They've always had the really big maps and the destruction of buildings and aspects. That's always been really great. I saw what they did with Battlefield 1, completely revamped it. Really great aspect. I loved what they did. The war stories were really cool. And this one, I'm really digging the fact that they're showing the other aspects of World War II that aren't talked about, with what they've stated. And what got a lot of people heated about with the story is some of the people that they saw there that they're just like, no, that's not true, they weren't there. No, it is. If you know anything about history, what you're seeing is fairly accurate in certain parts of the war, so everyone could shut the hell up. I want to see the campaign, and I want to see the war stories again, because the war stories were self-contained stories that talked about certain soldiers' experiences, and those were very unique. And their multiplayer still looks as big and very well done as a Battlefield game does. They've had the vehicle combat down. They know what they're doing with these large maps. If anyone could do a battle royale and make it handle fairly well, it would be them, because the fact that they know how to make these large scale areas that fit for vehicles. Call of Duty doesn't have that. Activision and them, they do not have that experience. This is why Battlefield is in a better spot. However, I agree. Their show was very lackluster. They didn't put out a lot of the information about the game. Yeah, they may have detailed some of the modes about it. Shut the fuck up, native. But the aspect is they didn't show enough of the game to really sell people. They gave everyone over an hour and a half, 2.5 minutes worth of footage, and a lot of it we all more than know is going to be scripted CGI. They need to give more. Where Call of Duty did a little bit better, they really hyped up what they're offering. Battlefield didn't do that.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like I said before, I think it's a glorified DLC for Battlefield 1. I've said many times before that I feel that Battlefield 1 was lacking when it came to content specifically. See, the thing is they can't really help that the guns that they use don't have attachments and they don't have this and that. Like Battlefield 4, I can continue to go back there and I'm still earning stuff from my guns, still getting upgrades and all this other stuff. When you go back to these old environments, you have old weapons and old vehicles. And in Battlefield 1, I was in the tank and I couldn't even fucking see. But you're talking about weird. I sit in the back and it's just like, man, I didn't like it. I didn't like Battlefield 1. I felt like this is a continuation. I think Black Ops is just going to curb stomp Battlefield like it usually does. And, honestly, I've been kind of tired of Call of Duty. But the announcement, there's no question. They curb stomped them when it came to the announcement and the presentation. Yep. Battlefield was a snooze fest. Black Ops was just, boom, boom, boom. Here's this. There's no
faster pace,
like the potential for the battle royale and the fact that they're putting all these maps from past Call of Duties. You'll have Nuketown, maybe you'll have this, you'll have that, and then they'll have vehicles. I think there's some potential there. Real quick, who haven't we heard from?
Yeah, man. I'll keep it short and simple on this topic. Look, I like both series of games for different reasons. I mean, I was groomed on Call of Duty. I do prefer, I think, Call of Duty more so than Battlefield. But look, Black Ops 4 and Battlefield 5 can go choke on your mama's douche kit. I'm not buying either. I'm not buying either one of those games this year, and I'll tell you why. I'm not buying Call of Duty because there's no campaign. I've always bought Call of Duties for campaign. You know what? I buy them for the campaign, but the multiplayer keeps me there. Now, Battlefield, on the other hand, yes, it's got the campaign and it looks good. I mean, it's always been a series that seems to up its ante from a graphical and performance perspective. I've always liked how Battlefield offered the large battlefields. It's less predictable combat scenarios, play out differently, but it's back to World War II. Now, I think if last year's Call of Duty had been anything other than World War II, I'd have probably been like, cool, World War II. But now we've had World War I, World War II, and now another World War II, 3 World War games. And like you said, Salty, like you're in these games in these slow-ass tanks. You can't see nothing. Guns take forever to freaking reload. I mean, what's next? We're going to go back to the Civil War era and play with some muskets? I mean, what's going on here, man?
Look, so the way that works, Noof, is that there's 6 people on this side and 6 people on the other side. They walk down a hill, and whoever wins, someone's left standing.
We're gonna roll.
You gotta do a QTE section. You gotta do a QTE to ram the rod down in there, load the musket, make sure you have the ball, pack the gunpowder, everything.
So I'm out on both this year, and you know what? That's fine with me because I'll save my money and I'll play the shit out of Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I've been saying that I'll probably get the Black Ops 4, but let's be honest, I'm a cheap bastard, so I probably won't get either. My game share buddy usually comes through. He buys shit I don't want to get usually, so we'll see with that. But this controversy about the woman being in the game and
oh my gosh,
you guys don't want to touch on this. I
do definitely.
Okay,
no, I do.
It blows my so if you guys don't know, if you're living under a rock, social media, everywhere else, when this was revealed, there's obviously a woman that's the main character or the focus of the video. She was in there a couple times. She has face paint. She has her arm has a prosthetic, and she at the end of the multiplayer reveal, or it wasn't a multiplayer but the gameplay reveal, she ends up saving this dude that was going to get choked out. She talks or whatever, and then everybody just loses their fucking mind on the video. Thumbs down all over the place, talking about not my battlefield, blah 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 blah, right? Saying that it's not, historically correct, and blah blah blah. It's SJW, blah blah blah, and then all this stuff just hits the fan, right? It's weird to me that this is even a subject, because if you look at some of the aspects of these video games, I understand it's taking place in World War II, but there's been videos out there of these battlefield games where people like flip out of their jet, no scope someone, then get back into their jet. You had people in Battlefield 1 putting 2 people with flamethrowers and standing up on the horse and burning people. Like, in reality, like, yes, you're in that setting, but at the end of the day, you're just trying to have fun, right? And people want to have avatars that they play with that resembles them. So there's a lot of female gamers out there, so I don't even think this should be a topic. What do you guys think, real quick?
It's not even that, dude. It's there were females in World War II that participated in World War II. You look at Lady Death. She was like one of the top snipers in that participated in World War II. The one that had the person that had the most confirmed kills, the most sniper confirmed kills, was a woman. Yep. I mean, come on, dude. Really? I don't want females in my video games. Why, dude? Why? Like, I don't get it. It blows my mind.
They're insecure in their masculinity. That's what it is.
I guess.
Hey, guys. I hear that the next step is Nintendo is actually going to make a Super Mario game where actually Princess Peach actually saves Mario for a change.
Oh, thank God. Look, I'm probably the one who has the most knowledge about this, because everyone keeps making fun of me because I'm the encyclopedia. But this one had me most pissed because this shows how ignorant people are to history. If anyone knew anything, they would know that the current queen, Queen Elizabeth, served in the Auxiliary Territorial Service back in the 40s. She helped man.
Suck on that.
She manned anti-aircraft guns with other women. And if anyone knows anything, there was a squadron of women, of Soviet Russian women, who was an entire bomber regiment that were nicknamed the Night Witches because they would go and bomb German outposts at night.
Get them.
Yep.
Well, there were so many out there. The fact that people are getting this annoyed is what shows how far we have fallen in basic understanding. Like, half the things that we have now was because of women back then. Computers, all done by women working on handmade machines. The first computer was a giant piece of circuitry probably about 8 feet by 2 feet wide and about 3 feet thick, that had to be operated and calculated by hand by 4 different women. Like, I'm sorry.
The thing is like, I'm not defending these people at all, but like, when you saw this gameplay, people were like, the way that they looked when they're coming out, they look like they're having a party. Basically, they're all happy, and then she had a prosthetic that looked different, and then she had face paint that was blue. It's bright blue, so it just kind of stood out a little bit. I think just people are reaching for stuff that they shouldn't. Let's see who hasn't talked.
Oh man, first off, any Family Guy fans out there, oh my God, who the hell cares? It's a fucking chick on the front cover. It doesn't change anything you do in the game. If it's a chick or a dude, whatever you're doing with your gun or a bayonet, whatever the hell you're using, it's not gonna change. Fucking move forward. It is what it is, and play the damn game. You bought it because you're a fan of Battlefield. Who's actually really gonna go out there and be like, you know what? It's just not a purchase for me. This fucking chick on the front's not doing it for me. You know how many fucking games or movies I buy? I don't like the cover. I fucking buy it because I like it.
Well, my grandpappy always said that women make babies and not bones.
Oh wow!
It is.
But here's the thing. Like, do we live in the caveman age or something? Because every time I turn around, people are like complaining about women being on the cover of this or women being in video games here and there. It's like, why do you care? Like, like you realize that.
Because I don't want to shoot the women. I don't want to shoot the women.
That's the thing. Like, there are a lot of women that play video games. So we're going to alienate those women from playing these games because they put a woman in a video game? Like, that don't make no sense, man. That makes perfectly no sense. And here's the thing. Like when I saw that trailer for Battlefield 5, it reminded me of Bad Company. where it was kind of goofy. It was kind of like they were having fun and they were kind of like a party. Like Bad Company was exactly like that. So if they're taking a Bad Company type of campaign and putting in the regular type of multiplayer with Battlefield 5, I'm all in. And I don't care if there's a woman in the game. I don't give a shit. There was a woman in Call of Duty World War II. And guess what? That mission that you played in Call of Duty World War II was one of my favorite missions of all time, hands down, in Call of Duty. Because guess what? You were a spy, you snuck around, and you like it was awesome. I love that mission.
Yeah.
And to alienate anybody in this community of gamers is just wrong, man. What are you doing? Why are you even getting online and talking about this crap? Why are you even saying stuff? You should just keep your mouth shut and go back to your caveman age. Just stay off the online, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could care less.
yeah, it is what it is. It was interesting. I knew that would get people revved up, but we're nearing the end here. I know in the title we talked about E3 predictions, but we don't have that much time. So we're going to talk about real quick one game that you think is just going to come out of left field for you for Xbox for E3. Like, what's your prediction on something that hasn't been talked about or something you would like to see for Xbox at E3? We'll start with whoever wants to start.
Games, man. All I want to see is more games. I don't care about anything else. Like,
What's
you know,
your standout,
PlayStation.
though? What would be your standout?
My standout, honestly, would be probably like because I'm hearing, you know, things here and there, you know, rumors about a Perfect Dark. If they come out with another Perfect Dark, boom, done. One E3 hands down for me.
Okay. Native, what about you, man?
Splinter Cell. Give me a Splinter Cell, dude. I want a perfect baby of Chaos Theory and Conviction and Blacklist. I want that perfect meld of stealth and action, dude. That would it. And Spies versus Mercenaries. That's it. Splinter Cell, baby.
Dude, I might be Snatchel 4 in the morning playing with you if that shit happens.
Exactly.
I might even jump in and play with you guys.
Native. You got me working over here, man.
Bloody, what do you want to see? Prediction.
You know, this is a game that really out of left field that I would kill to see, and I'm glad that Native brought up his Siphon Filter. Ooh. I want to bring back the Godfathers of Stealth
for Xbox, or
yeah, I would love to see Siphon Filter come back.
What?
Bold.
Okay.
Very bold.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bold.
but I mean, you got to think that out of the three Godfathers of the stealth genre, you had Metal Gear, Siphon Filter, Splinter Cell. Splinter Cell's been disactive for a little bit, and we're seeing that we're hearing rumors that it might come back. Now would be the perfect time for Siphon Filter to come back because it hasn't had a game since the mid 2000s.
Splinter Cell Battle Royale, Dennis Haas. That's interesting. Punk, what about you?
Well, obviously, Native said, obviously, I want them to just nail the Splinter Cell. But if anything, and I know they said they don't want to go too far into the future, just show me a 30-second sneak peek of a new IP that they're going to bring out. I don't care what it is, just something. That's what I want to see.
Something new.
Yeah,
all right.
something fresh, man. It doesn't even got to be gameplay, just a little teaser. I don't give a damn.
Okay. Noof, what about you?
All right. Well, I think obviously the obvious for Microsoft, they're going to show another Forza, but I would love to see, and I think there is something definitely going down between Sega and Microsoft. I'm not sure what, but I got this sense in my bones there's something big going down between those two, some type of game. Maybe it's at least a timed exclusive, but needless to say, I think there's something big between Sega and Microsoft here for the future. Maybe it's related to Altered Beast, maybe it's Shinobi, who the hell knows, but I definitely think there's something on to go there. Maybe bringing back Virtua Fighter, which has been oddly absent for a very long time. Outside of that, I think Sony, well, they're going to play pretty safe, but I got a funny feeling they're going to bring out perhaps another remaster, probably something we haven't thought of. I have a funny feeling they're going to do that. And as far as Nintendo, I definitely think there's a possibility we'll see something Mario Party related and most likely more footage on Metroid, the new one.
Sick.
I do want a Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk would kill it for me.
Well, yeah.
It's going to be.
No, it's going to be Cyberpunk.
I know it's going to be there, but if they show gameplay, if they show other aspects, not just another trailer, that would kill it for me for sure.
Yep.
So
I absolutely agree.
For me, I just want Scalebound to be resurrected. I know it's not going to happen, but damn, that'd be crazy, right? So that's what I'd like to see. But anyway, Christina was saying that we should go more in depth with our E3 predictions. I agree. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. You never know how these things are going to go. You know, sometimes you drag on with things, sometimes you're a little bit short. So we ran out of time, unfortunately. So maybe next week we'll go more in depth. Probably that.
We still got a few weeks left. It's okay.
Yeah,
Exactly. Let some leaks happen. You know.
Yeah,
let some leaks happen.
Tonight was awesome. Like I said, we bang, bang, bang. The topics were good. It was an awesome episode. Let's get into the outros and then we'll get out for the night. So let's start off with our new panel members. Dark Goldblum, Dark, aka Dark Bottomist. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Optimus. You can also find me on Xbox Live, the same name. You can also check me out every Saturday on the next podcast at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And you guys can now check me out here on T.S.G.P, doing my thing here as well and making fun of Irrelevant Native.
Trying.
Yes.
We're trying, effort, my friend. But I need some more stuff from you.
Lazy Black Gamer says, "Stop lying, Saltiest Game. You trying to get some booty, huh?" Well, that's always the possibility. So you know what it is. Like to thank everybody in chat before we move on to the next person. You guys are awesome. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys. I love the community that we have here on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. I appreciate every one of you guys. Too many to mention right now. But yeah, don't want to get bushy on you, but I love you guys. Next up, we got Nukem. Thanks for being here, man.
Salty and sweet, but stink like some feet. And yes, Nukem is up in the house, bringing some no chills to the Saltiest podcast. Hope you've enjoyed my first official appearance with these guys. A great group, a great panel. I am super excited to be a part of this podcast. I've been a big fan of Salty for a long time, and we've been talking behind the scenes. And when the opportunity came up to join this cast, I said, yeah, man, I'm in as long as you guys will have me and don't mind my wacky sense of humor. We're good to go. But yeah, shout out to the chat. You guys are fantastic. Thanks for having me here tonight. That's it for me. You know where to find me as usual, guys, in the gutter. Go catch you there.
Yeah, you guys need to watch Mixing It Up with Noof. It's amazing. Check it out, Mixer. Next up, we got Punk Kiddish Gaming. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Punkadish Gaming, Xbox and PlayStation, Punkadish, and then obviously every Thursday here 9 Eastern on the Saltiest podcast, or gaming podcast. I gotta get in the rhythm of that too. It's gonna be throwing me off. But no, it's great to have Dark on here, Noof, man. Great additions. I look forward to doing many more shows with you guys, and let's keep it salty. I like it.
Awesome. Irrelevant Native. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Irrelevant Native. You'll see me there. You'll also find me on Xbox, Irrelevant Native, same thing. Just wanted to once again say welcome, Dark and Noof, man. It was great. Bloody said it earlier. The chemistry. Putting out my candle right now. The chemistry was great, man. You guys are fucking amazing. The chat was amazing. It was all over the place, and it was just a lot of fun, dude. Yep. Salty, you're still a fraud. But much love, everybody.
Awesome. Bloody, where can people find you?
Of course, they can find me on Twitter at Bloody Knuckles. The O's are 0s, the E's are 3. And of course, they can find me on my channel, Bloody Knuckles Smash Podcast. Our show runs every Saturday. We're your little corner of nerdy news and geeky goodness. And of course, find me here every Thursday and then on Fridays with the GRG crew. And like everyone's been saying, man, Dark, glad to have you out here with us. I'm glad that we're actually getting to spend more time with you, as well as Noof. I followed you for a while, dude, and you're just funny. And I'm glad that we're on a show together. Just having your comedy out here just blends with everyone else, man. It's really great to have you on.
All right. The word of the day is chemistry. Make sure you write that down.
Put your candles
out. I guess I'll give my outro. Saltiest Gaming. You're on the channel. The Saltiest Gaming Podcast. This was a great episode, guys, for sure. Hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe, hit the bell icon and all that
And the reason we know chemistry, guys, is because we're all a bunch of test tube babies up in here.
Yes. I don't know about you, but my dad just came in a jar of formaldehyde, and my mom called it a baby.
Oh my god!
Signing off.
On that note, we're gonna go here. That's gonna do it for episode 37 of the Saltiest Gaming Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, stay salty, my friends.
Salty.